Cleanliness is next to godliness, especially when you're supersizing your business during a pandemic. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom, our proverb today is cleanliness is next to godliness. Now, this is one of those idioms that John Wesley actually used in a sermon in 1778, but it goes back to ancient times, both the Hebrew and the Babylonian religious tracts speak of cleanliness and the importance of cleanliness. Now, they're speaking in terms of cleanliness of spirit as well as physical cleanliness. Oh, and that would bring people closer to God. If you are clean in your actions and your thoughts and your behavior and your physical presentation, then you're closer to God, because God is assumed to be all pure, all good things, right? Well, what does cleanliness do for you? It does a lot for you personally. Number one, it increases our health. It increases our appearance. It increases our confidence. It helps us to be more organized, which makes us more efficient and more effective. Some of us, that's a big deal for. But how does that apply to our business? Well, especially during COVID-19, a lot of businesses that really never gave sanitation and cleanliness a second thought. It was just we've got to do this just to maintain a modicum of decorum so that customers will come into our business, so that they'll do business with us because we have a nice, clean establishment. Now, depending on the business you're in, sanitation and cleanliness has a much higher priority than others. If you're in the food business, if you're in the food manufacturing business, especially if you're in pharmaceuticals or healthcare, they already had a much higher standard of expectation for sanitation, cleanliness, and customer and employee safety to begin with, but they've beefed that up even more, as have probably everybody with a physical business. If you haven't yet, you're way behind the curve, because we've been sitting here in this pandemic for nearly a year now. So why do we want things to be clean and orderly? What's the advantages to our business for that? Because there truly are business advantages to having a clean, organized environment. When I was in corporate America, I inherited my last corporate job. I inherited the sanitation function. Now, it was for a big industrial bakery. We're talking, $100 million plus industrial bakery. So it wasn't a small mom and pop bakery. It was a big bakery. And sanitation the function of sanitation was to basically clean up after everybody else that worked there and make sure that the work areas were clean and sanitized and safe to produce and manufacture food. Huge, huge responsibility, but learned very quickly and taught people very quickly that it's actually easier to be organized, to have a place for everything and everything in your place. That became my motto, and I probably drove people nuts with that in sanitation. And then don't even get me started on the quality things I made my quality people do. But a place for everything in its place actually applied to everybody. And it wasn't just sanitation that I inundated with this belief in these processes. It was everyone in the organization. Why? Because it made everything easier. Everybody knew where everything belonged. You cleaned it and you put it back clean. You used it, you cleaned it, you put it back clean. Or you used it, sanitation cleaned it, and it went to the same place clean, so everybody knew where things were. What does that do for you? Well, it makes things a lot quicker and easier and faster to grab when you need to do something. Everybody knows where everything is. Have you ever, this happened to me recently, I moved and I had somebody else set up my kitchen for me, and I had no idea where anything was. It took me forever to make toast and things like that because I didn't know where the simplest tools were, because the person had done an amazing job, but they had organized my kitchen the way they would use a kitchen. And for me, it didn't work very well. So what did I have to do? Reorganize it. But once I got it reorganized, now everybody knows everything goes in these certain places. You use it, you wash it, goes in the dishwasher, goes back in the same place. So everybody in the household knows exactly where everything is. That makes things a lot more effective, a lot more efficient, a lot less stressful, because there's no struggle looking for things that you need when you need them. Now, in my business life, in my corporate life, I was very, very organized and very meticulous about things like that. In my personal life, not so much. If you looked around my work area right now, and I'm trying to work on a new background, it's a slow process for me. And it means things are in a disruption and in a kind of a mess right now. But every day I plug away a little bit at it as I get some time and make sure that it ends up being the way I want it to be. Will it be that way forever? No. But I noticed that my last background, it developed over about a year, but then I got sick of it because it was so busy and so much. And then I got these cool fireside chairs that I grew up with from my sister. These were actually in my parents' home in Wisconsin, and my sister had them in her basement and didn't have room for them anymore. And I'm like, well, I'll take them and I'll get them recovered. And eventually I'll get them recovered. This is about the third or fourth recovering on these that my mom had done. And so I think they got at least another one or two in them. So I'll pick a fabric. I haven't picked one yet. I don't know what I want them to be, so, or where I'm going to actually have them land as their home. Right now they're in my office, but that doesn't mean they'll stay there. They might go somewhere else. So we're always changing things, but if we know where things are, it makes it easier for everyone. And, you know, a lot of us are beefing up our sanitation practices. We are doing things differently. We are doing things remotely. And with that come all the challenges of making sure we put systems, big system person here, in place to make things go smoothly for us, for the people that work with us, and for the people that we serve especially. So I guess I would love to know your experience with this. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Have you changed the processes and the procedures and the things you're doing for your business? Are you working from home now and you had to set up a home office and a home place to work because your business or your job is shut down, or you're working from home for an extended period of time? Love to know those stories. That's our idiom for today. Have an amazing day, and I'll of course be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. Proverbs, we're doing about 100 days of Proverbs just for the fun of it, and what they mean, where they come from, and how you can use them in your business right now. Take care. Bye. Go clean something.